Everybody, as we've told you every single Wednesday night, we scour the world looking for the most amazing people in all of the blockchain technology, even in finance, people that are moving towards Web3. There's so many different individuals that are contributing to the future of our space. And today I have someone very interesting. He's a tech-savvy founder of the Smart Blocks agency. Number one I have here. He's the former chief revenue officer for the NFT leader Wax.io. I held Wax for a long time. I liked Wax. They had the Hot Wheels. It was pretty cool. He's been making waves in the world of crypto and e-commerce for over 2 decades. He also wrote for Forbes magazine. He's done a lot of different things for Global 3000 companies and more. And I'd like to introduce Mark Fiddleman to the live stream. Mark, thank you for coming on in today. Appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a real honor.
So, number one, how you doing today? How you feeling? You know, and where are you from? Like, what got you into cryptocurrency?
Well, you know, it's interesting, right? Because I hated the idea of Bitcoin when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what is this? Fake money, Disneyland money, monopoly money, is I think what I called it, for 3 years. Had I just bought a little bit, it would have been worth everyone knows what it'd be worth now. But then Ethereum came along. And Ethereum's like, whoa, a platform for money? That's the way I was thinking about it at the time. It's more than that. We see applications being built on all sorts of things like DeFi. But I was like, a platform for, now I get it. Now I know why it's going to revolutionize everything. And why it's not already is because the entrenched players don't want to give up their sandbox, right? They're making a lot of money. Now you're starting to see BlackRock and everyone else get into it. But to make a long story short, I saw the writing on the wall, and I like to get ahead of the, Wayne Gretzky say, skate where the puck is going. So that's what I'm doing.
I like it. So are you still big on ETH? Like, if I were to give you 10 grand right now, is it Ethereum or Bitcoin? Or would you dabble in both? Or are you all about Ethereum?
There's some, I would go security tokens primarily because of the dividend pay. You could literally have a $30,000 a month income if you invest for the next 10 years. Just $1,000 in security tokens that have dividends. But if it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, I like Ethereum more, but there's so much passion behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin is probably going to be the leader for some time to come. I think Ethereum is the better technology.
Yeah. So a lot of my followers, people that watch me, some of them are into finance, we're traders, mainly pulled in through cryptocurrency, right? Because I'm a crypto lifer, and I'm expanding their knowledge of finance. Now, you said a security token. Now, you said a word that we know, we trade securities, but then you said the word token. Explain that, because that might confuse some people. Like, what is a security token? Is that a combination of both? My mind starts to spin, and I just want you to kind of break it down for the viewers.
Of course. So all a security token is something that's backed by an asset. So imagine if Ethereum were backed by equity in Ethereum. It's not. It's either a commodity or a utility, or I think it's even a security in some cases. It really depends. So what a security token is, it says, okay, you own this token and it's connected to something of value, a painting, a commercial real estate building, a portfolio of royalties. That we've done oil royalties where people are getting royalties. I'm like, I want more money right now, so I'll tokenize it and give out the distributions as they come in. So literally anything of value that's an asset, IP, patents, you name it, can be tokenized and put on a blockchain and traded like a stock. And so that's what security tokens are. They're just another form of a stock, but without all the regulatory hassles, at least for now, that you see in when you take a company public.
Interesting. So is that your main focus now, is tokenization? Yeah,
it's my only focus. I mean, I still do some e-commerce projects, but my main focus is security tokens. And I'm way ahead of the game. I mean, when you see this interview 3 years from now, you're like, oh, yeah, of course. But right now, a lot of people are like, well, I don't know. But, even though BlackRock and B of A and Citi and all the big players have said, yeah, this is the future, I still see a lot of resistance to it because I don't think people really understand it. They think it's crypto. It is not crypto. It's using the same tools as crypto, like the blockchain and exchanges and so on. But this is fully regulated. Gary Gensler is not going to call you up and just say, hey, we're going to send you a Wells notice. It's not going to happen with security tokens.
Interesting. I'm just recently getting involved with a security token in the next couple of weeks. And so this is a whole beautiful world that I'm starting to dabble into, and I find it very interesting. Yeah, because we want people to get into the tech. We don't want the regulatory framework to scare people from the tech, right? That's kind of what's happening now. So many people would be involved if they didn't feel like, if they weren't getting into some type of sketchy place, right? Where they were,
Right.
breaking some type of law or doing something that they felt like could get them in some, or it's the company they're involved with. The consumer's fine, but the company is doing things that are wrong, and then they have to go through some type of red tape and pay a huge fine or something like that. So what is so that you're bringing up some of the roadblocks too? Are the liquidity issues? Do we have problems with basically do we have enough people involved that I can buy and sell my tokens easily? And what exchanges are we going to have these on? Is it going to be on one of these bigger ones that just came out, like that one with JP Morgan, that EDX or something like that? Or are there new ones, other places I don't even know about?
Well, there's places you don't know about, but yes, there is a liquidity problem. Not enough people are trading. So that is absolutely the case. If somebody wanted to make a fortune, they'd become a market maker for security tokens, because people would sign up left and right for your services if you're able to do it. So yes, that's the number one roadblock. But like anything else, that will be overcome as more and more people get on board. I think most of crypto will be forced to become a security token. I think that's what eventually will shake out between Congress and the SEC and FINRA. And so we'll see more liquidity there. And I also think it's just a better investment. We talk about, you hear about hacked wallets all the time, or hack this, hack that. You can't hack a security token if it's done right, because they're all whitelisted, meaning they're tied to you. So if it's lost or somebody hacks your wallet, you just call up the company and say, hey, cancel that one, reissue a new one. I mean, that's what happens. It's just a way different investment. Now, I don't think, if you're investing in meme coins, it's not going to go up like a meme coin. But what is a meme coin? That to me is a Ponzi scam. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them. Doge is lasted a long time, but there's nothing behind it. It is nothing. It's basically, people putting money in to pay off the ones that want to get out. So security tokens are the exact opposite. It's run like a stock. The companies are legit. They do what's called a Reg J, Reg D, Reg S in the United States, and internationally. As long as you're compliant in the U.S., you could sell anywhere in the world. The SEC or FINRA doesn't care. As long as you do a Reg S, you've opened up your market, your project to the world. You cannot do that right now using even the stock market. Only through tokenization can you do that.
Yeah, you're bringing up some cool examples. Could you walk us through some of your favorite, like maybe real estate or an equity project, something that you did that's ongoing right now? Is there an investment that I could get my hands on right now? Or is there something that I could get? Because this is getting me excited. And as an investor, I like to speculate, and I'm just excited. I want to see what's going on.
First of all, if you want to get involved with what the big players are doing, like Siemens or Goldman Sachs, they've tokenized bond offerings. Just recently, this year, Siemens did a $60 million digital bond offering. And this is a tokenization of real bonds on Polygon. So you could buy into that right now. The government of Hong Kong issued $100 million tokenized green bonds on Goldman Sachs's network. You can get involved in that. I don't know if you need to be a Goldman Sachs customer or not, but I'm pretty sure on the secondary markets, for sure, you can get involved. But the ones that I like are more like Truckbook, which is a company that's in China that keeps track of freight, trucking freight companies that are moving trucks around, and the blockchain records all of this. It's like a supply chain management tool using the blockchain, and they've issued equity. And the Chinese market, is gigantic. So as long as you trust, you got to do your due diligence, but as long as you trust the team that's out there and they're doing their reporting correctly, there's some good investments that pay dividends. And I mentioned this earlier, that you get involved in enough of these, and you're making $30,000-$40,000 a month in 10 years. I mean, I preach that all the time. Just invest $1,000 a month in these things, and assuming they're decent companies, all of this stuff is automated too. They're just issuing your dividend through the blockchain, whatever blockchain that you're on, and it just shows up in your wallet. You don't have to do anything. It's also far more affordable for them and more efficient for the issuer as well.
That was the question that just came up to me, like right when I went to ask the question, you said the word wallet.
We think alike.
Did they give us wallets? Do I have to open up? Is it just like when I opened up my E-Trade account?
I
You
mean,
know, do they have addresses? Can you see them on the blockchain? Is there a block explorer? Is it just like using Ethereum?
same exact thing, same tool, but they are whitelisted, meaning somebody can't just take it, hack your wallet and take it.
So are they ERC20 tokens though, or no? Like, are we
No, that could be ERC 1404. There's a new one that's very specific to security tokens. I just forget the number of it. It's very obscure numbers that these people come up with. But
yeah, it's like 1577.
where you have to sign off, you have to have the right wallet, signing off with the right wallet in order to even exchange these things, which is friction. I don't like friction, but it's important because if it's trading on like a Uniswap, because of the smart contracts that are built into these security tokens, it won't just let somebody take it, even if it's hacked. It has to have a digital signature that signs off on it and then allows it. Because, you know, security tokens aren't about hiding anything. You can do that in crypto. It is about legitimate trading of equity or assets or debt or, you know, whatever it is that you've tokenized. And everyone is known in the community, at least the company knows who's doing the trading.
Yeah, it's funny because like I love decentralization and I love blockchain, but I'm also not into hiding stuff. Like I'm already getting known on YouTube. Like I'm not about, once I realized I was going that path, I realized my life was going to be open to scrutiny. I said, okay, like, so I was always like, you know, fine, let me KYC, do whatever. Like I always hate when we can't use exchanges that I love that the whole world gets to use because I can't KYC on it. I would love to KYC on it. I have no problem. You know what I mean? Like I see other people like, no, we want to be on the underground. Like, I don't want it to be on the underground. I want it to be as open as it is, right? As these tokenized assets are. I can't wait till we find, you know, all we need is a level playing field, right? That we've been asking for so we can all kind of start to do the same thing. What I like what you're talking about here is I can get involved right now without having to worry about any of that. It's already cleared. It's already formed. It's a tokenized security. I'm really just buying a stock that just has a new form of tech created through blockchain, right? Is that like the fast way to talk about or the easiest way to put it?
It is. I mean, the easiest way to think of this is like a stock, but far less expensive to go public, less scrutiny from the SEC or FINRA because these are exemptions that you're going through. You still have to do the reporting. You still can go to jail if you screw people over. I mean, security tokens don't stop financial crimes, but you know what it does? It allows you to see it on the blockchain. So anyone, you're an analyst, anyone that's looking at the blockchain could figure out, whoa, why is a company doing this and that? You don't have access to a public company's bank accounts. You can't see what's going on. But with these, if it's on the blockchain, you certainly have a lot more transparency. They still have bank accounts, but you still have a lot more transparency of what they're doing with the tokens and the equity or whatever it is that they tokenized.
You know, that's what I loved about blockchain technology is I started trading. People were telling me about dark pools and like, you know, I never worked at Goldman Sachs, but like I was smart enough to pick up on what was going on and I'd have enough conversations throughout, you know, my different events that I went to. And then I started understanding liquidity and realizing where the money was and, you know, oh, okay, that's why they buy off, you know, the pink sheets and like where all the liquidity was actually going, how big companies were getting things off market and on OTC. And I wouldn't have figured all that out without blockchain. You know what I mean? Because I started following the money, seeing how things were moving. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, and realizing how much banks were making on interest that they weren't giving to people, right? And then DeFi said, hey, why don't we give it to you guys?
Exactly.
You know, I found that so amazing. So can I tokenize, like say my dad was a real estate mogul and we owned like 5,000 homes, right? And could we tokenize that real estate portfolio and then we can sell tokens of that? Is it like a new way to make another revenue off of the same portfolio? I'm so could you then buy tokens out of the portfolio? Like I'm trying to figure this out. Like, and is it something that I could do right now too? Like in real world right now? Like if I really wanted to do, if I had those items.
Yeah. So you don't have 5,000, you have 4,000.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All right. So there's two ways to do it. You could tokenize the portfolio, or what I like to do is tokenize the company that owns the portfolio, because then you can issue more tokens to raise money to buy not 5,000 homes, but maybe 7,000, 8,000 homes. So, and it's all tied to performance. You can choose to issue a dividend or not, you know, depending on what rents are coming in. And there's companies that are doing this. They own Airbnbs and they're paying out 20, 30% of what they're making on these Airbnbs. So I thought that was ingenious. But I would tokenize the company just because you have more flexibility. If it's just a portfolio, then everything's tied to the portfolio. You can't raise money because the tokens are the portfolio. If you tokenize the company that owns a portfolio, then you can kind of do whatever you want. Just like companies do, they do secondary offerings of stock and tertiary offerings of stock. So you can absolutely
Is it kind of like taking a mortgage out on your house in a way? Like it's like another way to have access to another set of liquidity now, because like you already have, right? That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
It's even better because with DeFi, you can put those tokens up and you can borrow against them. So let's say you own a bunch of tokens that you're the issuer and you don't want to have to necessarily sell them. You could just put them up for, you could borrow against them. And so there's all sorts of platforms where you could do that. So that's the ingenious part about it, is you don't even need to sell them and incur a tax liability. You just put them up and now you're just borrowing from yourself essentially.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, people were doing that with DeFi with Matic. I remember people saying, why sell my Matic? I'll just put it up as collateral, take a loan out. If it goes to zero, I don't pay back the loan, right? It's fine. Like I don't have to pay back the loan anyway. And it's the same as if I went and took the Matic out and sold it, but I never had to actually make a trade. It was a non-taxable event. It's pretty interesting, man. How you, I can see like 50 years from now how they're gonna have to like rework everything again. We're just gonna have to.
It'll all be on the blockchain, so you're gonna pay your tax. The IRS is already gonna know what you owe.
Right, immediately.
Especially, I don't know if you get into CBDCs, which I hate, by the way, but I don't know if you've ever talked about that.
No, all the time. We bring them up every day. Yeah.
No, I'm totally against it. I don't think we should issue CBDCs from the government.
What's your main reason? What's your main reason?
Well, I just point to China and I say, hey, if they don't like your social score, they start blocking you from buying things. And this government, I've been through the judiciary here. I've seen a lot of bad stuff happen here. And I'm like, this is the US. We don't care about the Constitution anymore, where they just do what they want to do, essentially. And then they say, fight us, come fight us. Well, how am I going to do that? You've already taken the money out of my account. This didn't happen to me, but I've seen it happen to other people. You've already taken the money out of my account. How am I supposed to hire an attorney firm to fight you? And then why should I spend $1 million fighting for what's right? So I've seen enough of that where imagine if they had CBDCs and they just cutting you off because they say, well, you used too much carbon this month, so we're not going to let you run your air conditioning or whatever.
I mean, but
that should never come to fruition.
It's funny because, like, the polarization of the country, but there's still just the common sense people, right? And it's like 15-minute cities I keep hearing about. Like this, I'm hearing about, my wife's bringing it up, a friend's bringing it up. I hear about it on the internet. It's like soon you won't be able to drive somewhere, or if you do, you went an extra 2 exits on the highway. That's going to be you're going to have to pay that carbon tax. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, how crazy these politicians can be. So I don't trust them. Why would you trust them?
I'm getting a new dryer. Off topic and funny, but it is in a way. We're getting a new dryer. It's been old. It's the same one. It's a gas dryer, right? So today we go to Home Depot. They're all electric, so you can't get a gas dryer. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to.
Or a gas stove.
You can order it. You can order it, but you can't get it in the store. So like it's super hard to go the old route. They're making it very hard everywhere you go, no matter what's happening. But so now I see your YouTube channel. I think it's pretty cool. What are you doing on there? What's the information I can get from there? What did you come up with? Cryptonized, it's like tokenized crypto, I'm amazed that you went this far into blockchain, and I believe you see the vision. Like 10 years from now, you're a multi-billionaire in my mind, right? And we're on some private jet. Right? Remember when you interviewed me that time? That was pretty cool, but like, what gave you the vision for the YouTube channel? What made you want to come out like on the social aspect too? Not only on the back end, but it seems like you want to also be on the forefront.
Well, it's a very good question. So one, I don't like looking like an idiot. So what happens when I interview people like you do, I get educated. And so when I'm educated, I sound more convincing to people that want to hire me because I really know my if I could swear on your show here, but that's not from me. People like you have educated me on this whole new world. So the show's used for that primarily. Secondary, but almost as important, is I bring people on that I want to have a relationship with. So somebody that could hire my company, somebody that I could partner with, somebody with a bigger audience than me that can evangelize, the show. But that's more of a secondary thing. And then third, I just think for marketing purposes, you need exposure in this world. Unfortunately, you're competing with 1 billion posts a day on social media. Well, how are you going to rise above the noise? You can do it with paid advertising, but organically, I think is better. And you can always throw paid advertising behind organic, which I do with some of my videos if they start to take off. But I'm always experimenting, so we'll see what happens.
I've always been someone who studies people that go all the way. You know what I mean? Just been kind of, you mentioned Wayne Gretzky. I got to meet him, I remember, at an All-Star game here when they played at the Fleet Center when it first opened back in like the early 90s. But I loved him, man. I did a thing on him, like, one of the greatest people on earth, when he played for the Oilers, all that. But what I'm bringing up is it's getting to the point where to be the best in any industry, you got to have like a YouTube channel. You got to have a side piece of social media. Like I have a buddy who's in real estate and he's like 50-year-old guy doing great. And then the other day we popped on a YouTube channel. The woman was like 65 and and he's like, man, she's got more views than me. And I'm like, man, you gotta make a presence online somehow, some way. And I don't care what business you're in. If you're in the, if you own a home improvement company, I don't care what you do, you can film something that you're doing. Right? Like my buddy, I was like, man, you just sold a beautiful house. Film that. You know what I mean? I'm like, ask the people if they could sign on that. And, that's another video for you every time you do something. And that's what I love being on, online and having an online presence. Same as you. I love to interview people that I could reach out to. I learned so much from you already. And just, sometimes presence, what you're talking about, what you're breaking down, how you got where you're at today. One last thing. Are you a family man? Do you have a family? Do you have kids?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 2 kids. I've got a girlfriend that I really admire, and she's in real estate, by the way.
Nice.
She works for the Oppenheim Group, which is the Selling Sunset Netflix show, and she's selling real estate in Southern California. So my kids are older. Fortunately, they'll be out of the home pretty soon, especially my son. Yeah. I consider myself definitely a family man.
Yeah, I got a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old, so I'm starting.
2 and an 8. Oh,
starting
boy.
my journey, man. I just turned 40.
A long way to go.
I know.
But it's fun. I mean, I coached my son's football team, his basketball team, my daughter's soccer team. That's where I really enjoyed.
You're gonna miss it when they're gone, man. You're gonna miss it. But you got this whole new world to go for. That's what I'm excited about too. Is some of us, we may be at different stages of our lives, but crypto is creating a whole nother realm. You know what I mean? Like it's so interesting to me, and it's people of all different ages from all different industries that understand how to progress, and it's kind of bringing the people that know what we need to do to get to the next level. It's like, yeah, it makes sense to us. Like it makes complete sense, and other people are like, and you're like, dude, like you're gonna use this whether you realize it or not. You might as well figure it out now.
Totally.
Dude, this has been an amazing interview. One last thing I wanted to say before we ended it, because I don't want to make it too long, but I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite thing to tokenize? Do you have a favorite thing to tokenize? And is there any sport too that you want to get involved with this? So just kind of throw that out there. Like, I don't know if there's you're in Southern California, you mentioned, is there surfing, or is there another way we can bring sports into tokenization too? That's just a question someone asked me.
They already are. I think there's a European team that's tokenized the equity of their team. And then they use it strategically. If you own enough tokens, you get a free season pass, or you get a seat every other game or something like that. You can get very creative with security tokens. Well, with crypto in general, you can, let's face it, with smart contracts. So sports teams, yes. And what was your question?
What's your favorite thing? Like if you would pick one thing that you love to tokenize the most, or something that you would like to just...
SpaceX. And I keep pestering Elon Musk. I don't know him. He's never communicated back to me, but I keep telling him, hey, perfect. I mean, this is him, right? He's on Twitter. He's talking about Dogecoin of all things, which is just a meme coin. Why doesn't he take the first big step? And this is the most popular company ever, and tokenize SpaceX, even if it's just a tiny chunk of his company. That would be so huge for our industry.
Yeah, no, he does something. It ripples through the whole. Everyone just, and it becomes kind of Ripple, status quo.
Speaking of Ripple, Ripple's done more for crypto than any other company, just by fighting that fight against the SEC and having a partial victory. Everyone should be thanking Ripple, even if you're Bitcoin maxi or not. They did us a big favor.
No, I like you, man. We didn't get to go over everything that, because sometimes we might love each other and still have different opinions about cryptocurrency, but you're right on with a lot of things that I'm into. I hold 10,000 XRP. Maybe I should hold more or less, but I've been holding it 16 cents, 10 cents. I've been buying it and holding it for years. But kind of, for me, it's kind of, solidarity too, you know what I mean? Like, I'll never sell that thing. Like, I'll sell it later, maybe $5-10 or something. But my point was not during, I was never going to fear out, and I was never going to FUD my bags just because I stayed strong. And, now they're trying to see a little more FUD is going on with that. We'll see where it goes. But I'm pretty sure that they'll win the case and they'll go from there. But
they've already won part of it.
Yep.
The main thing that they were consider a security token was thrown out. Now, interesting enough, the part that they still have to litigate is whether they were a security token to accredited institutional investors. I just find this mind-blowing. Institutional investors know what they're doing. The SEC doesn't need to protect them, but we'll see what happens in court.
Yeah, like any loophole they can get. Tell people where they can find you. We went over it again, but just, take the stage for the last couple minutes or a minute and just tell people where they can find you. Anything you're more passionate about. And man, thank you so much for coming on in. And I actually want to get to know you a little bit more too. If we could maybe set up another Zoom off camera, and then I'll be following you now that I kind of see your story, and I'll be checking up on you every couple of weeks.
All right. Well, there's a bunch of places. I'm like you. I'm everywhere, but I'm trying to go deep in a few areas, and that is a newsletter. And if you go to Cryptonized with a D.substack.com, you can sign up for my newsletter. That's all things security tokens, tokenization. I report on, what's happening in the space. You can get up to speed pretty quickly on it if you're interested. Then the YouTube channel is at Cryptonized1. So it's youtube.com/@Cryptonized1. And then probably the best place to get a hold of me is just go to my website, smartblocks.agency. And there's a contact me now. You could speak directly to me if you ask for me and not another team member if you're interested in tokenization.
Mark, thank you so much for your time, man. I greatly appreciate it. And all the links will be below, everyone. Check them out. I'm going to start going to his newsletter every week because I think he'll give me some alpha, probably make my show a little better, man. So thank you so much.
Thank you.